Now, yesterday on Capitol Hill, Congresswoman Nancy Mace was praised for exposing a far-left activist who claims to be against violent rhetoric, but who also called for Supreme Court justices to be accosted. Watch this exchange.
Is rhetoric on social media a problem and a threat to our democracy, Mr. Ward?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Siegel?
Yes.
Ms. Caraballo?
Yes.
Ms. Nomani?
Yes.
Ms. Tyler?
Yes.
Yes.
Only a few weeks after the attempted attack on a Supreme Court justice on June 25th, one of the witnesses, Alejandra Caraballo, tweeted out the following in response to a decision on abortion overturning Roe v. Wade, and I'll quote directly from the tweet: "The 6 justices who overturned Roe should never know peace again. It is our civic duty to accost them every time they're in public. They are pariahs. Since women don't have their rights, these justices should never have a peaceful moment in public again." I have a question. Is it yes or no? Do you believe your rhetoric is a threat to democracy when you're calling to accost a branch of government, the Supreme Court?
I don't believe that's a correct characterization of my
tweeted,
statements.
Did you not tweet that? That you thought that the Supreme Court justices should be accosted?
What I'm saying is
that,
that
yes
that
or
is
no?
not an accurate characterization of my statements.
The same people that claim to be so concerned about violence and threats to democracy, they're also the ones at times that are spewing the hate themselves. Anyway, here with more Republican Congresswoman from South Carolina, Nancy Mace, is with us. That was a pretty brilliant exchange. Is there any evidence to the contrary? They really didn't deny that that was their tweet, right?
No, she couldn't deny it. Those were her words in black and white from Twitter that we displayed on the board behind me. Here's the thing. If you're going to be a hypocrite who advocates violence online, you probably shouldn't do it coming before me in my committee, because what you saw yesterday is a preview of what's going to happen next year when there's new management in town on oversight. And when you come into that room to testify, we're going to show you for the hypocrites that you are, because there's one standard for the left and then there's a standard for everybody else. And when you rightly pointed out, Sean, that these people are coming before our committee to testify, speaking out against hate speech, speaking out against violent rhetoric, as we all should. And yet these are the very same people who are using hate speech, who are using violent rhetoric against our Supreme Court justices, and they're hypocrites for it.
You know, we watched day after day after day, month after month after month, the January 6 hearings. I was on radio in real time while it was happening, and I condemned it in real time, and I condemned it that night on this show. But yet the summer before, in the summer of 2020, we had 574 riots. We had thousands of injured cops, dozens of dead Americans, billions in property damage. How come there's never been a committee looking into that violence? Doesn't that seem hypocritical?
Very hypocritical. And for the record, the FBI doesn't even quantify Antifa crimes, and they have never charged a member of Antifa or these anarchist groups that cause destruction around our country for 2 years straight. And I mentioned in my hearing yesterday that I've been a victim of political violence. I've had my car keyed. I have had my house spray painted. Recently, earlier this year in August, I had my house trespassed again for the second time in about a year. And I deal with threats day in and day out because I sometimes take positions that people don't like. I'm in a purple district. That's what happens. But you've got to stand your ground and stake out those positions. But I carry a gun everywhere I go when I'm back home because of the rhetoric that I've seen out there, because of the threats. I've been accosted on the streets in public, physically and verbally, and it's not okay. And to see these people come to Congress and to see the hypocrisy on the Constitution, to see the hypocrisy on what they believe democracy should be, it's not at your whim. And we have this beautiful document of our founding fathers, and we should be holding people to the fullest extent of the law, regardless if they have an R or a D by their name. You've been very vocal about condemning certain people, and as I have as well, and we should be, but we should also be holding people accountable. I mean, somebody showed up on the steps of Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh's doorsteps with a knife, a loaded pistol, ready to kill him and himself. And we've got to put a stop to this nonsense, and it's going to start January 3rd.
Yeah, I agree completely. And as a talk show host, yeah, I've had the same experience as you have and many others, and it should stop. All right, Congresswoman, thank you.